Hey guys, Tony here from Fit Body Bootcamp. Welcome back to our awesome 3-part series that's going to teach you the main mistakes that you could be making with your diet and with your exercise that are preventing you from losing weight at the moment. Now, we've already spoken about the mistakes you could be making with your diet and with your exercise plan, so today we're going to combine those into the 7 reasons that you aren't losing your belly. So if you haven't already watched video number 1 and number 2, please click on those first and then come back to me for video 3 because we're going to be overlapping a few things. Okay, if you're staying with me for video 3, make sure you've got a pen and a piece of paper. I want you to be able to write these things down. Okay, so let's get this started. Your belly. Now what an awful thing that can be. It can ruin holidays, it can ruin nights out. Okay, how often have you gone out for a night out and felt less confident than you should do because you're worried about your belly and how it looks in that dress, in that skirt, in those tight jeans? Okay, are you constantly walking around on that night out, maybe sucking your tummy in, and maybe not enjoying yourself as much as you should do because you're more worried about, feeling disgusting? Maybe somebody notices your muffin top. Perhaps you're always pulling up your jeans or pulling down your top. Perhaps when you get home, you look in the mirror and you're stood there in your underwear and you're almost reduced to tears because no matter what you do, you think you're eating healthily, you're working out hard, and still you can't see any change around that midsection. Don't get me wrong, I understand it can be the most stubborn area to go, but it's often because it's a little bit misunderstood. There are 7 reasons that I've written down here that you can find solutions to right away that you can take home that we're going to go through today that are going to help you shift that belly fat in actually not too long amount of time. Okay, so we're going to go through them one by one, starting with number 1, which is stress. And stress is absolutely the worst belly creator ever. If you are stressed emotionally or physically, your belly will grow. Okay, when you are stressed, so whether you're overworked at work, your boss is on your back, it could be at home personally, there could be financial problems that are stressing you out, it could be relationship problems, there are so many sources of stress in the world nowadays, and all of those things contribute to the stress reaction that you experience inside your body. You may not even realise it, but when your body feels those higher levels of stress, it starts pumping out 2 chemicals, 2 hormones called cortisol and adrenaline. And when those hormones are in your body at a high level, your body will react by putting lots of fat around your tummy. It's trying to protect your vital organs, and because it thinks that you're in danger, that initial primitive stress response, it's trying to give you extra fuel. So it's storing fat around your tummy to try and protect you. Okay? Now remember, stress isn't just emotional, it's also physical. So if you're not sleeping properly, you're not eating properly, and maybe you're literally up from dusk till dawn, working yourself into the ground physically, you're also going to be exhausted, and that's another form of stress that you need to consider. So in order to address problem number 1, you need to think about the stresses in your life right now and what can you do to reduce them. If you're not getting enough sleep, can you try and get yourself to bed earlier, or can you settle yourself down properly instead of spending hours on Facebook or something like that before you go to sleep? If it's emotional, if it's something to do with work, is there something that you can address to bring those stress levels down in relation to your work situation? So have a good think about that, because it will make a huge difference on your belly and your weight loss attempts. Okay? Number 2, alcohol. And it does tie in closely with stress. Alcohol is a toxin, it's a poison, and unfortunately when you do drink it, it stresses your body out, okay, because it is poisonous and your body has to battle it. Your liver in particular has to break all those toxins down and flush it out of your bloodstream as fast as possible. If your liver is busy doing that and dealing with those toxins, it's not doing its real job, which is to break down fat. Okay, so instead that fat just sits there, and if there are too many toxins, if you end up binge drinking and your liver can't handle that, your body tries to get it away as fast as possible and it will just store it in your fat cells. Okay? So that's alcohol. Unfortunately, in order to get rid of your belly, there is the phrase beer belly exists for a reason. Your alcohol consumption does need to come right down. It does take a couple of days for you to recover after drinking alcohol. So even if you're only having it at the weekends, the effects will go into the following week, and it will knock out a lot of the efforts that you may be currently making in terms of your exercise and your diet. So it's not worth it, guys. Do try and knock it on the head, because you will thank me for it. Okay? Number 3, too much cardio. Now this might be a bit of a surprise to a lot of you, but if you're working really hard, you're already stressed out, everything that we just spoke about, if you're then piling on lots of exercise on top, you are going to make that body boil over. And again, when you're that stressed, you're just not going to burn fat. So what you might want to look at is finding ways you can do more efficient exercise. So you want to spend less time exercising, but when you do exercise, you want to make sure that what you're doing is efficient and productive. Okay, so if you're spending hours and hours on a treadmill or hours and hours in the gym working out and you still can't see that belly fat coming down, you might want to consider that you're actually overtraining, overstressing your body and preventing it from burning off that belly fat because it's not in the right state for it. Okay? Your next one, sit-ups. And again, maybe a little bit contradictory to what you already believe, but if you're doing lots and lots of sit-ups every single day, you know, I hear it a lot, I do 500 sit-ups a night and my tummy isn't going flat. First of all, you can't spot burn fat, so you're not going to burn a big hole in your belly fat and just expose those abs underneath. Second of all, that exercise doesn't work that much muscle in the first place. So actually you're not burning many calories. You'll be better off doing things like squats, burpees, big movements that are using lots of muscles at once and burning away lots of fat in one movement. At the end of the day, we've all got a six-pack underneath. It's just about stripping away that belly fat and revealing it. So you don't necessarily need to do loads of sit-ups to try and make those abs pop through. It's not really how it works. Finally, when you're doing a lot of sit-ups, it actually tightens up your hips. So what can happen is your pelvis tips forward and it can give you the illusion of a pot belly. So if you're actually a slimmer person but you're still struggling with your belly, it may actually be that you're quite tight around your hips and it's more of an illusion, your core is weaker. So you need to look at a better core program that's going to work all the way around, not just those hips that are going to tip your whole pelvis forward and give you that pot belly illusion. Okay, so a few different solutions there for you to consider. Okay? Number 5, no greens. Now, if your body is in this massively stressed environment, so it's going to be more acidic than it should be, okay? Because stress equals acid. Now, green vegetables are alkaline, so what happens is when you eat a lot more vegetables, it brings that acid down, it calms your body down, all that inflammation that you're experiencing as a result of your stress. So again, going back to reason number 1, can be calmed down greatly by taking more dark greens into your diet. So things like broccoli, kale, spinach, watercress, anything that's dark green, pile it on your plate to get lots of it into your diet. Really you can start by making perhaps green smoothies. Okay? Once you get that in your diet, you're going to bring those acid levels down and you'll find that your body is much more capable. Instead of having to deal with those high acid levels, it can then focus on actually starting to burn belly fat away. Not only that, but when you've got higher fibre levels in your diet from that green vegetables as well, it'll start flushing your system through and you'll find that any sort of bloating that you might experience will really start to come down quite considerably. Okay? Your next option, dehydration. Now again, it might seem you're not too sure about this one, but if you haven't got enough water in your body will cling to as much water as it possibly can to keep you hydrated. You're 70% water, so it does need that water. Okay? If it's clinging onto that water, you get water retention and you get a bloated tummy, you can get puffy thighs and legs as well, and a quite puffy bottom. So everybody's a little bit different, but you'll be surprised that when you actually hydrate yourself properly, so a minimum of 2 litres every single day, perhaps get yourself a bottle that you can carry around with you, and I always put a marker on the side so that I know where I want to be at lunchtime. So if I haven't drunk that much by lunchtime, I know that I'm falling behind in terms of sipping away on that water. So a good water bottle to be your new best friend is always a good idea. But once you find that you're becoming more hydrated, your body will start flushing through, releasing those toxins, and your body will start releasing onto the water that it's clinging onto as well, and you'll find that everything starts to streamline almost right away. So it's really worth doing that. There's so many benefits to being hydrated. I can't really list them all now, but it's definitely a good one to get started on. It's such an easy solution as well. Finally, number 7, and it is the biggest one, I'm going to leave it to last because I can't emphasize it enough, is impatience. Okay, how many times have you really seen somebody who's not in shape on the rest of their body, so say their shoulders and their arms, their legs and so on, but they've got a six-pack? Now, I can't think of a time when I've seen that. It's very, very, very unusual, okay, because your six-pack, your flat tummy is often the last thing to come in. Your body puts that fat there to protect your vital organs. So unless your body is comfortable, that it's being well watered, well fed, you're calm, everything is good, it's not going to release that fat until it is ready. And like I say, it's often the last thing, so you need to be patient. If you're currently actually doing all of these things and everything is changing but you can't shift that midsection, often it comes down to a little bit of patience, and day by day you'll actually start to realise that things are tightening and trimming up. Sometimes you just have to be patient with these things, so do bear that in mind. Okay? So they are my 7 main reasons and maybe 7 best steps that you can take over the next week or so to really start seeing a difference around your tummy. They are all tiny little steps, and you can maybe start by taking one at a time. So perhaps dehydration would be the easiest thing. Just start drinking more water this week. Okay, when you've got to good grips with that, go on to something else like eating more greens. Slowly but surely taking tiny baby steps. You will get there with this stuff, okay? But it's better to break it into molehills than try and climb that mountain all at once. And that's exactly what I say to every client that comes in through the door, begging me to tell them how can they shift that belly fat, okay? Some of them do still think that they need to do hours of cardio, do loads of sit-ups, but slowly but surely, by changing their habits, having a step-by-step system, they all find that their tummies come right down, they start trimming up, they feel more comfortable, less bloated. When they go out for nights out, they're no longer too worried because they feel more confident at last. They go on holiday and they actually enjoy being there for change, because that belly can be crippling if you're struggling with it. But what if I could break it down for you just like I did for them, okay? So I could give you these steps and I could help you through them. If you're struggling getting that water in, I could find solutions for you. What if we could do that and actually take you to that flat tummy that you really do want to see when you look in the mirror, when you go on holiday, when you go clothes shopping, and when you go out for a night out with your friends? Okay, so if you want me to help you with that, by all means, please do. Click on that button. This is your last chance. This is video number 3. So please do click, book yourself in for your free fat loss consultation call. Okay, I will call you, or so will one of our colleagues, and we will talk to you about your current situation, what your goals are, and what you're struggling with. We can give you the same step-by-step system that we give all of our clients here at Fit Body Bootcamp. But please, book in soon. We only have a limited amount of calls that we can answer each week. Remember, this is your last chance, so I don't want you to miss out. Get yourself sorted, give us a call. We're going to help you with that belly, help you with all the mistakes that you may be making at the moment, and we're going to finally get you past feeling miserable, feeling underconfident, and feeling frustrated and fed up with where you are at the moment. So please book yourself in, and if you have any comments, any questions, write them in below, and I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. I look forward to talking to you. Take care. Bye-bye.